What is up, guys? It's Ryan Sneaks back with another video, and today I'm doing something completely different. When I was talking about merging my two channels, it happened to consist of Batman stuff, so I'm just throwing this in here, and I wanted to do my little talk about Batman versus Superman. Now, I've seen it a few times now, and I needed to see it a couple times before I actually said stuff about it. So many people were hating on the movie and just slamming it, saying Deadpool was so much better. All the Marvel movies have so much on it, and DC isn't Marvel, so you're not supposed to expect that. Marvel's a little bit more lighthearted, more for kids. Even Deadpool was a little bit more for adults, but people expected that non-stop action that Deadpool delivered, or something a little bit lighthearted for the kids. Now, I've been into Batman for a while, and I can say this movie was great. It took a bunch of different aspects from different storylines and kind of mashed them in together. It took the death of Superman when killing him by Doomsday. It pretty much took Frank Miller's whole series of The Dark Knight and shoved it in there, and then just threw extras in there. Now, where the film had its flaws, I think, was it didn't really explain too much into things. It just kind of hopped around because there's so many things going on. For example, one thing I would have liked to see is him making the suit that he was going to fight Superman in. I would have liked to see a visual of him and Alfred thinking it in and putting it all together. Instead, you just get the scene of him on the rooftop. Another thing I really didn't like about it is that Batman killed. Hopefully there's an explanation for that, but this whole thing turns up where he's not supposed to kill, because if he kills, he's just like a bad guy. There's always been that fine line for Batman, and he never crosses it because he's a good guy. Now, okay, throw that all out for this movie. I can deal with that, okay? He kills. So this is where my question is. We see the Joker in Suicide Squad, and the Joker has obviously already killed Jason Todd, or whatever Robin they're going to be killing off in the movie. My question is, why hasn't he killed the Joker? If he's fine killing all those henchmen of Lex Luthor's in the movie, shredding them down with bullets and destroying their vehicles while they're in there, why not kill the Joker? I just don't understand that, but I'm sure we'll get an explanation for it. Hopefully we get an explanation for it. I need an explanation for it, but only time will tell. Now, with Zack Snyder as a director, you get really, really great visuals, but the storyline was kind of choppy. I've never really been into Superman films, especially like Man of Steel. I really didn't focus too much into it. The only really Superman title that I was really into wasn't even a movie, it was the Smallville series. And I think just because it had so much going on for it. Which brings me to my next point, which is Lex Luthor. Jesse Eisenberg, to me, played more of a Riddler. Jesse Eisenberg played more of a Riddler type character for me. I know he's not Lex Luthor, he's Alexander Luthor Jr. Essentially, he's Lex Luthor. But I was expecting something a little bit more serious. The whole funny guy thing was kind of played out, and you already get two guys that are like that in the Batman universe, which is the Joker and Riddler. I wanted something more of a Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville, and I didn't really get that. And he's kind of crazy, so maybe in the next movies they'll follow up with that. It shows him, I guess he contacted Darkseid and he's coming down because he was going crazy with the snot running out of his nose, and I want to say Arkham, hopefully. I hope that jail cell was in Arkham, because that would just tie into the movie perfectly and we can just get some Arkham stuff going in. If y'all didn't know, I'm a huge Arkham fan. But it was about 3 hours long. They got pretty much all the stuff they needed to build a base for the Justice League. But you always run into the same problem where they're trying to build to a sequel and not really focusing on the storyline, which is kind of what happened with Age of Ultron. And that's exactly what happened with Fantastic Four, which was nah. But a lot of people were hating on Batman vs. Superman, saying the plot had so many holes and the storyline was boring and there was no action. And I disagree with all of it. I tried not to bite into any of the movie hype. I tried not to look in all the reviews before I saw it. I actually saw it the day before it premiered at 7 o'clock, so I really didn't have too many spoilers to go in to see. And all I really wanted to see was Ben Affleck as Batman, to see how that worked out. And to me, that was amazing. He looks like a Bruce Wayne. He looks like a Batman. He's big, he's tall, he has that face of Batman. I love the Christopher Nolan films, and I don't know, Christian Bale was a really good actor for Bruce Wayne, but for Batman, I just didn't think he had the build for him. And don't go hating, I love the Christopher Nolan film. That's still my favorite trilogy of all time. But I just think Ben Affleck is a better suited build for Batman. Also, the fighting style was Arkham to a T. When he shoots up from the ground and shoots little jammers onto the guns, I don't even know how many times I've done that in Arkham City and Arkham Knight. I mean, all of those games. I'm not going to say Arkham Asylum because you didn't really have too many gadgets, but Arkham Knight, that was my go-to. I would just jam everybody's sensors and guns and just go at him. The fighting style was crazy. He was a straight brawler like in Arkham. Batman in the movie was everything I wanted to be. Superman, on the other hand, I just don't really have a liking to him because he's such of a good guy. Even though in the Snyder film he has killed, I don't know, I never really get a good connection with Superman. But I do think that Henry Cavill did a great job as Superman again. The first movie, like I just said, I don't really feel too much into Superman. The only time I've ever really liked Superman was in Smallville when Tom Welling was Superman. And Wonder Woman had a great appearance. It's just, it was so short. I don't really know how to say it. Everybody was saying how great of a job Wonder Woman was and it stole the show, but she had like the less fight scenes of anybody. It's great and all, but I do want to see how it pans out. Like in the movie that's coming out for Wonder Woman, I'm really interested to see who the villain is, because if she was able to fight on Doomsday and push him off, who was she fighting in the movie? Because she was able to fend off Doomsday. I can only imagine how hard of a battle it could be if just a human was fighting her. But if you listen closely in the movie, she does say that she's killed other things before. Now, the main focus that I'm going into after this movie is, of course, Suicide Squad. That movie is probably going to be more liked by audiences because it's going to have a lot more action. And I'm hoping they kind of try to tie in the Jason Todd or whatever Robin they choose to kill in the movie. I want to see who they do that for, or even if they kill a Robin. Because it also kind of seemed a little bit off when we were getting those rumors that the Joker was going to be a Robin that turned bad. And then when Bruce Wayne's talking to Alfred about turning bad, how he's saying how many good guys have stayed good, and it kind of just makes me think someone went bad. I hope that doesn't happen, because I do want to get the whole Under the Red Hood story and all that other stuff with Red Hood, and it would just be a perfect match. It really gets that dark, gritty feel for DC if they were to do that, because Red Hood's a straight-up killer. And that's all I've been hearing on rumor sites and everything, that they're trying to do an Under the Red Hood storyline, and that would be just amazing. Even if they did a Killing Joke storyline, that would be amazing. Or anything that has to tie in with the Bat family, I'd be so down for that. But for me, the movie, I'd give it a B+. I would give it an A if they just had a little bit more time. I know it was a really long film, but they could have put so much more in there. I'm really waiting for the extended cut. I heard it's going to be R-rated. So hopefully there's going to be that scene where he breaks into Lex Luthor's house and steals a kryptonite. I want to see what happens there. I want to see if they explain why he kills now. Hopefully they show some more Diana Prince, Wonder Woman things going on, because I just feel like we didn't get enough of her. And if it's going to be an R-rated cut, I'm going to imagine there's some more killing and fighting going on, so that'll always be good. But overall, I really enjoyed this movie, from the comic book nerd inside of me that always is looking up Batman stuff, playing the games, watching the movies, watching the shows. It just, all of it was good. It could have been better in some parts. I feel that they rushed really bad, and the part where Batman was going after Superman, was about to kill him, and just yells Martha. After that, he just completely stops his whole mission of killing Superman. Is like, alright, let's team up. Saves his mom, and then is like, I'm a friend of your son's. I had that conversation with my dad and my girlfriend. I was like, how can he say that he's friends with his sons when not even 30 minutes ago, because that timer was 30 minutes, he was trying to kill Superman, and now he's a friend of your son. But whatever, I guess, just whatever. And Lois Lane, I just am not a fan of in this one. It's just, they try to fit her into too many spots. That whole desert scene, I feel, could have just got thrown away, and I would have had no problem with it. They could have just done the whole court system thing off of him destroying Metropolis, and that could have been fine. That whole desert sequence, just, I didn't really care for it. I didn't feel any attachment to the people that were there. I didn't know who they were. The journalist that got killed with her, I didn't care. But I'm looking for an explanation of when the Flash goes through, I'm going to guess either a Speed Force or a boom tube, and tells Bruce Wayne to stop in Superman because he's right about him. That just gave me a whole Injustice vibe, where they have the two worlds, Superman's bad in one, Superman's good in the other. And obviously somebody killed Lois Lane to make Superman go crazy. The exact same plot of Injustice. So I'm interested to see where that goes, and especially since you see the Omega symbol and what I thought was a desert, but then the next time viewing it, I saw that it's either Metropolis or Gotham, because you see the towers in the back, you see the big city, and you see the Omega symbol. And from what I'm looking at, it looked like Superman was working for Darkseid or working with him, because he also had Darkseid's minions coming in and helping him out. And for the people that aren't into the comic books or anything, they probably saw that thinking, what the fuck? I know when that was going on, I looked over at my girlfriend and her face was just, I was staring at the screen just amazed by all the different hints and things that could happen, and she didn't know what was going on. So if you're into the comic books, I know it sounds like I'm just trying to make up for the movie, but if you are into the comic books, you'll really get what's going on. And if you played Injustice, you'll really get what's going on. I have a feeling they're going to just try to throw the whole Injustice thing into it, which is a pretty good thing to do, I think. At first I was thinking Flashpoint Paradox, they were going to get the Batman that kills, and kind of twist it around that way to show why Bruce kills. Plus, Flashpoint Paradox is probably one of my favorite animated movies of the DC universe. But I think that's just asking a little bit too much. Under the Red Hood would just be the perfect thing. It'd be a perfect story for Batman. They don't have to include Superman. I just don't think Superman works good in a Batman universe. I think Batman works great in a Superman universe, but Superman does not just give me the feel of a Dark Knight, Arkham feel. It's just, he's not dark. And after Superman got stabbed by Doomsday, it ripped open his uniform. And I think his suit is going to be replaced in the next movie with a brighter color. because he's not as dark as everyone else in the movies. So I feel that they're gonna go more of like a classic Superman costume. Hopefully no underwear on the outside. They stay just with what they got, but I think it's gonna be a little bit different. And I'm really excited to see how they introduce all the other guys: Cyborg, Aquaman, the Flash. Just kind of see how they all integrate them in. And I really do wish they would have just combined the TV universe and the cinematic universe into one. I know Snyder said he didn't think Grant Gustin was a good fit for the DC cinematic universe, but I do think that comic relief is kind of needed, and he's more of the light side of it. And I think Stephen Amell would have fit just in fine, because the whole Arrow show was dark and gritty. But I understand what they're saying. There's so many different universes in DC. They can do that, but my thing is, if they can do that, bring in Smallville actors and kind of toss them into the Arrow stuff, or have them in their own and just kind of cross over, because I want to see Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum back together on the screen as Clark and Lex. But that's just a fanboy in me, and I just want to see that happen. But I've just seen so many hate videos and reviews on it. I just don't understand why. I can probably understand if you haven't seen or read any of the comics or movies or anything for it, but to me it just all came together so well. There was a lot of the jumpiness and rushing to things, but I think it got its point across. And it did the same sin as any other Marvel or DC movie where they just try to set up too much for the next movie. But I do think they did a good job of introducing Batman, which for me is all I cared about. But let me know what you guys thought. Have you seen the movie? Did you see it more than once? Are you into Batman and know what's going on? Did you not know anything at all? I know it was really, really hyped, and all the expectations going into it was crazy. But for me, I went in thinking just it's going to be another Age of Ultron where they just set up everything, and I was fine. And plus all the Arkham elements, like I said, it just... But thank you guys for watching. This is my first movie little rant review thing I've ever done on this channel, and I hope to keep it up with all the other DC movies that are coming out, and maybe even Marvel. I'm not too much into Marvel as I am DC, but we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.